One player your club should sell and buy, Prem Edition. We'll start on the order of the Premier League table currently, bottom to top. Starting with Wolves. The player Wolves should sell, in my opinion, is Wang Chan. He's been a great salmon for the club, scoring some important goals in his time there, but in the last year or so, his performances have dropped off. He's become quite injury prone, and he doesn't seem too happy at the club. He went from scoring 13 Premier League goals in the 2023-24 season to only 2 goals in the 2024-25 season. And this season, he's only scored one after 7 games, and he didn't even come off in their most recent game off the bench against Fulham. I still think they could get a decent fee for him too, as he's still only 29 years old. He's not a useless player. He's actually quite good as well, in my opinion, but his time at Wolves is up. And why not cash in when you can before he ends up leaving for either really cheap or on a free? A player they should sign is Joe Fernandez from Barcelona. The 17-year-old probably won't be allowed to leave permanently, and I doubt he'd want to leave permanently as well, but a loan move wouldn't be bad for him, especially considering Wolves are a side that lack creativity, but they do have a great striker in Strand Larson. I think Joe Fernandez could provide excellent service for him. One player Forest should sell is Tyrell Awoniyi. Forest play a one striker formation and currently have 4 strikers at the club. You don't need that many strikers. Awoniyi was vital to Forest staying up in their first season back in the Premier League. He does also have a decent finish on him, but since then, he's been ridiculed with injuries, unfortunately, and Chris Wood has somehow turned into the New Zealand R9, so he struggled to get his way back into the team. New signings Igor Jesus and Calimundo, also being younger than him, doesn't help his cause for game time either in the future. I think he's too good to be rotted on the bench. He should go find a team that would start him. And it's a waste for Forest to have him rot away on the bench when they could get a decent fee for him. They already have 3 other strikers as well. One player Forest should sign is Nathaniel Brown from Frankfurt. The young English fullback has a lot of potential, and he's been impressive each time I've watched him play. His anticipation of the game is very good. He goes up and down the line very well, similar to Fulham's Anthony Robertson. The one issue would be, if he was to join Forest, I think he would demand a release clause that can be activated by top clubs, as I believe he will make it to the top top level of football, and elite clubs will soon be after him. One player West Ham should sell is Guido Rodriguez. The 31-year-old Argentine hasn't had the best of times at West Ham, but there still is a good player in him. But West Ham just isn't the right club for him to flourish. Nuno seems to prefer the other midfielders at the club, and for the time being, he seems to be the 5th choice midfielder. A bit similar to Awoniyi, he can easily start for another top flight club, but just not at West Ham, and it would be a shame if he just wastes his career on the bench. One player West Ham should sign is Joaquin Pinicelli from Strasbourg. West Ham have tried so many strikers in recent years, and none of them apart from Antonio seem to have any impact on the team. The 23-year-old Argentine striker has 9 goals in 11 games, and he looks like one hell of a striker. Very dangerous in the air, good technical ability, and I think he could finally be the man to end West Ham's failures of number 9s. One player Burnley should sell is Mike Treswell. The 26-year-old Belgian has struggled for minutes at Burnley this season, only featuring in the Carabao Cup games, and he's not even entirely suited to the new system, as Burnley now play a 5-3-2. He's more of a wide playmaker, and I can't see how he gets into the team. Burnley could get a decent fee for him, and should let go of him in my opinion, than rather let him rot on the bench or reserves. One player Burnley should sign is Samir Sergui from Paris FC. Correct me if I said his name wrong. The newly Algerian international would fit perfectly into the Burnley system, in my opinion. He has a lot of pace and physicality in him, and is actually quite good on the ball. He's also been a leader for Paris FC at the back this season since their promotion to League One, and he wouldn't cost too much either. He'd also help tighten up the defence more, which is exactly what Burnley need. One player Leeds should sell is Illan Meslier, or Melier, if that's how you say his name. The 25-year-old French keeper has fallen out of favour under Daniel Farke after he was a bit shaky in the Championship, and now he's not even second choice goalkeeper, as Carl Darlow has taken that position. I understand Melier had a poor season last year, but I can't define his whole career. I remember him being a decent goalkeeper in the Prem not too long ago. There's still a player in there, and he should leave for himself, and Leeds could also get a decent fee for him. He's still young, and he's shown he's capable of performing at the highest of levels. One player I would sign for Leeds is Ruben Vargas from Sevilla. He's international teammates with Noah Okafor and can play through the middle, where Leeds do need some creativity. I think he's perfect for that. He's a player with a lot of pace and loves to press, which is the Leeds style of play, and I think it would complement Okafor quite well, who in my opinion is Leeds' most dangerous attacker. One player Fulham should sell now. To be honest, this is the most difficult of all of them, but the most suitable player I found was Adama Traore. He is such a vibe to the dressing room, however, I think they should let go of him. He offers a lot of pace and physicality, but with the new signings of Chukwueze and Kevin, and the former Harry Wilson is in, I can't see how he starts for Fulham in my opinion. They should cash in on him. I'm sure a top flight club would love to have him as well. He's a decent player. One player Fulham should sign is Victor Boniface. Jimenez is 34 years old, and Muniz can't start every game, so Fulham could do with another striker. And especially with fellow Nigerians Iwobi, Bassi and Chukwueze at the club, I'm sure he'd fit in quite well, and he is someone who seems to be loved in the dressing room. But forgetting that, he's a class footballer. Let's not act like he wasn't a key part of Alonso's Invincibles. He had 23 goals and assists in 23 games in the Bundesliga. That means he had a goal contribution every game. He was also meant to go to Al Ittihad instead of Duran, but not Al Ittihad, Al Nasser instead of Duran, but he failed his medical, so they went for Duran. He was actually meant to be at AC Milan this season, but again failed his medical. So if he can somehow pass his medical, Fulham should get him in. I think he'd be an excellent addition. One player Everton should sell is Dwight McNeil. With the new arrivals of Grealish and Dibbling, McNeil has been somewhat left out of the team. Well, in all fairness, he is ahead of Dibbling right now in the team, but Everton didn't spend 42 million on him for nothing. They clearly have a plan on making him the future of the club, and with the form Grealish is in, they should sell McNeil to raise funds for Grealish, to bring him in permanently. The poor lad has also been struggling with fitness, and I think he should go to another club to remind us all again how good he actually is. There's definitely a player there in Dwight McNeil. One player Everton should sign is Edison from Atalanta. 26-year-old Brazilian DM was on a few top clubs' radars a couple seasons ago, but their interest seems to have cooled down for whatever reason. He'd be such a great addition to this Everton side. He's good on the ball, he's strong in his tackles, has good intensity throughout the 90 minutes. He could ask for release scores, that's the only negative, but Everton could do with some fresh legs in that midfield. One player Newcastle should sell is Joe Willock. Willock had an incredible start to his Newcastle career, but he seems to have fallen down the list for first team players. He doesn't get much minutes anymore, and with rumours Newcastle could play a 4-4-2 when Wissa is back, I can't see how he gets back into the team. For his own career, as well as the club, he should leave. He can easily play for another top flight club, and he should remind us all why he's an Arsenal Academy graduate, and Newcastle could make a decent fee off him too. One player Newcastle should sign is Kim Min-jae from Bayern Munich. Kim Min-jae isn't Company's favourite defender at the club. We all know he's a good player, but Company seems to prefer Upamecano, Jonathan Tah, Stanisic, and Ito when fit over him. Kim Min-jae is too good to be on the bench. He would improve Newcastle's defence a lot and potentially help take them up to that level that they've been trying to get to for years now, which is regular top 4, top 5. Well, 5th place can mean Champions League depending on how English teams do in European competitions. But yeah, Newcastle should sign Kim Min-jae. Another difficult one is Brentford. One player Brentford should sell, in my opinion, is Janelt. It's nothing to do with his performances. I actually think he plays quite well for them and he's been a great servant to the club, but they could get a decent fee for him and he's not a first choice on the team sheet, so I would sell Janelt. One player Brentford should sign is Morten Fredrup. The 24-year-old Danish international is a great destroyer of play and he's a standout player in a poor Genoa side who sit bottom in Serie A. He's very physical, likes a big strong tackle, and Brentford could do with a player like that who loves to dig in and do the dirty work. As they have Henderson for progressive passes and Damsgaard for driving up the pitch, or even passes as well, as we saw against Liverpool for the Schade goal. One player Aston Villa should sell is Morgan Rogers. Now I know a lot of Villa fans won't take this well, but let me explain. There's been a lot of rumours he's not happy at the club and he wants to leave. His performances have also been criticised by a lot of his own fans this season. I do think he's starting to pick up his form again, but Villa do also, not Villa specifically, but a lot of clubs do have issues when it comes to PSR, especially the non-Big Six sides. Villa can get around 70 to 80 million for him, use that to clear any PSR issues, and spend it on the team. They're not really relying on him only. They have a very good core, so that's why I picked Morgan Rogers. One player Aston Villa should sign is Mohamed Amoura from Wolfsburg. He can play left wing, cam, but is predominantly a striker for Wolfsburg. He's a standout player in a poor Wolfsburg side. He's got good pace on him, good dribbling, and a good finish. He's only 25 years old as well, and I think he's quite suited to the Emery system, especially up front. Watkins is nearing his 30s, he's not firing like he used to, still a good player, but they could do with another striker, so I'm going with Algerian international Mohamed Amoura. One player Brighton should sell is Kairo Matoma. Brighton have excellent players to cover the loss of Matoma. They have Gomez, Ruta, Minter, and their recruitment is quite good. If Brighton want to make a huge profit on Matoma, the time is now. They could sell him for a big fee, which can help the club a lot. One player I would sign for Brighton is Antonio Nusa from Leipzig. Might be a bit expensive, but he's such an underrated winger. He's so direct, so technical, and is a nuisance for defenders to cope with. He would most likely ask for a release clause, but we know Brighton like to develop young players and sell them for much more, so he does fit the profile of what they want. Antonio Nusa is perfect for that. One player Crystal Palace should sell is Romain Esse. Now this was another difficult one. Palace's squad depth is thin, and all the players do have an important part to play, as they are also in Europe. But I picked Romain Esse due to Glasner not really liking him. He's come out in press conferences talking negatively about Romain Esse, and it's a shame, because I do believe that he has a huge amount of potential in him. He could become like the next Eze and Elise. They both came from the Championship, but it seems like that potential has to be unlocked somewhere else. But Palace could get a decent fee for him, then rather let him rot on the bench and let him go for basically a pack of peanuts in 2-3 years' time. One player Crystal Palace should sign is Jagrova from Juventus. I understand it may be unrealistic or a bit too early for him to leave Juventus, so maybe they should try getting him on a loan. A skillful winger who could help Crystal Palace with depth and cup competitions. I'm sure he doesn't want to be sitting on the bench, and for whatever reason, he doesn't seem to be favoured at Juventus, whether it's under Tudor or Spalletti. I may be wrong about Spalletti, he may end up having a key role for him, but so far, it doesn't look like that. And if I was Palace, I would go all in to get him. One player Manchester United should sell is Joshua Zirkzee. There's a class footballer in there, and United may as well cash in on him, not let him rot on the bench. He's clearly not in the plans with the club preferring Sisco and even Cunha up top than him, and he would actually give United a decent fee. I mean, they bought him for 40 million, so I'd expect him to get 30 million back. He's also technically very good. One player Manchester United should sign is Carlos Baleba. Yes, this seems kind of boring and plain due to the links already there between the two clubs, but United need a complete midfielder who prefers to play deep, which is exactly what Baleba is. A good player on the ball, physically strong, and breaks up play well. They need to allow Bruno to play in this position again, man. He's best in the cam position. Stop playing Bruno centre mid. Go get Baleba. One player Chelsea should sell. Well, to be fair, with these lot, they could sell more than one. But for the purpose of this video, we'll just stick with one. Axel Disasi. I actually forgot he's still under contract at Chelsea. I mean, he's not a bad defender. He was decent at Villa, so I don't know why no club went in for him. Or maybe Chelsea were demanding far too much. But Disasi should leave the club. He's too good to be playing with the academy side or just be rotting on the reserves. One player Chelsea should sign, however, is Schlotterbeck, a great ball-playing defender, which is exactly what Maresca likes. Also solid defensively for me. You could argue he's top 5 centre-backs in the world. With contract negotiations stalled between him and Dortmund, he will have 1 year left on his contract, and I'm sure Dortmund wouldn't mind selling him, and Chelsea could also pick him up for a good fee. He'll become an instant starter for them in my opinion. One player Tottenham should sell is Richarlison. When Solanke comes back, Richarlison could potentially become 4th choice striker, and it's a shame because there's a player in there somewhere, but it's just not going to work out at Tottenham, I think. Tottenham could also get a decent fee on him than rather letting him go for a free somewhere else. Sell him to AC Milan for 25 to 30 million euros. I'm sure one of those clubs will want him. One player Tottenham should buy is Angelo Stiller from Stuttgart. The 24-year-old DM from Stuttgart has caught the eye of Real Madrid in the summer and other top clubs, but they never made an approach for him, and I think if Tottenham paid the right fee and wages to Stiller, he'd be open to join the club. They're crying out for a DM who could spray progressive passes. Imagine a double pivot of him and Palhinha. Oh my days, that would feed generations. One player Bournemouth should sell is Enes Unal. The 28-year-old Turkish international has been unfortunate with injuries at the club, and since being injured, Bournemouth have a new star man in Eli Krupi, the young French striker. There's also Evan Nilsson at the club, so I can't see how Unal plays over them two. He's still 28, so some decent clubs could want him and pay Bournemouth. Wow, sorry. Any Bournemouth fans out there? I apologise. Bournemouth, a decent fee. One player Bournemouth should sign is Saibari from PSV. The Moroccan international is on hot form this season and is shaping up to be an amazing right winger or cam, whichever two the manager decides to play him. Bournemouth could do with him. Imagine a front three of Semenyo, Eli Krupi or Evan Nilsson, and Saibari. That is scary. One player Sunderland should sell is Ian Poveda. I couldn't really find anyone else at Sunderland. They basically got rid of everyone else that they didn't need anymore, and all the others are new arrivals, so I can't really sell them yet. I'll just go with Ian Poveda. I can't see how he gets into the Sunderland side. What? Sorry, why can't I speak? One player Sunderland should sign is Nelson Angelo from Anderlecht. The 19-year-old Ecuadorian can play left wing, right wing, striker, and he's a very good presser. He runs and runs and runs like his life depends on it, and he'd be a good addition to the Sunderland side on the right. And he will probably become much better in the future, and they could get a big fee for him. One player Liverpool should sell is Chiesa. I know this don't go down with the fans very well, but he's hardly being used, and he's nearing towards the end of his career. He's 28. This is the perfect time to cash in on him, especially considering the form he's in. He's looked amazing every time he's come on for Liverpool, but they're not seeming to be using him, so they should just cash in. One player Liverpool should sign is Mark Guéhi. I know it seems boring, especially because this move almost happened in the summer, but Liverpool do need another centre-back. Go give Palace 20 million in January. His contract is up in the summer, and I'm sure Palace wouldn't mind selling him for 20 million. You get him for 6 months, and you could potentially win some trophies this season. One player Manchester City should sell is Calvin Phillips. I honestly forgot he's at the club. I doubt Pep will ever use him, and you may as well get what you can for him. Let's not forget how good this man was before the City move. I hope he can get back to those levels. One player Manchester City should sign is Cambiasso from Juventus. He reminds me a bit of Cancelo, but he's a bit more technical than that. Guardiola loves his fullbacks to invert in or go up and down the line like we've seen this season, and he can do both very comfortably. He's good with both feet, and he can do whatever the manager asks him. A very complete fullback. And finally, you lot are probably annoyed of hearing my voice at this point. Finally, the last team, Arsenal. One player Arsenal should sell is Gabriel Jesus. I know Arsenal fans have a soft spot for him already, but they have 2 strikers at the club, and 3 if you count Trossard there too. At right wing, they have Saka and Noni. They can get a decent fee for him. He should go revive his career. He does have a lot of talent, but I can't see how he features for Arsenal. One player Arsenal should sign is Ademola Lookman. Look, I know you may ask, but if you're going to get rid of Jesus, why go sign Lookman? The thing is, I think Eze should rotate the cam position of Odegaard, and that leaves the left wing spot open between Martinelli, Trossard, and Lookman if he comes in. Trossard can also go up top too, so it doesn't really matter. He only cost them 30 million. He's very explosive. He reminds me of Mbappe. I didn't say he's Mbappe. I repeat, Lookman is not Mbappe, but he has some traits of him in him. The fast body feints, the near post shots. Arsenal should get him and improve their attack. That's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you for watching.